Hey there. So I work only with the woman to help them create more fulfilling, intimate, supportive, loving relationships with their partner. So one of the questions I get is, why do I only work with a woman? How could only working with one person help the whole relationship? Doesn't it take two people? And then further than that is the question, like, why is it all up to me? Why should it be up to me? He's got some issues. He needs to work on him and us too. So here are my answers and a little pep talk to inspire you to really get that you can make such huge differences in your relationship by just working on you. So the first answer is that it's not just you alone, right? When you're working on your relationship or on yourself, you ultimately end up shifting things in the whole relationship. So I'll get more into that in a minute. So it's not that you're doing it on your own, you're initiating. Two, relationships are sort of, like it or not, somewhat more the realm of the woman than the man. And I say that with a grain of salt, but we are more socialized and we're biologically more wired to be oriented around relating to people. The third little answer is because you want it, right? As a caring, loving woman, you have always really longed for a lifelong, emotionally intimate, physically passionate, safe, loving, mutually supportive relationship. So because you want that so much, then, it's your responsibility to create that for you, for yourself. So I really like the idea that there is no such thing as working on your relationship. There's really only two people working on themselves. So I know it can feel frustrating and unfair if, you are working on yourself and he isn't. And, that might put you in the mindset, he brings real problems to the relationship. He has so many problems, he should participate, he should want it to work. He should try too. He should put in a lot of effort. And I totally get that. It would be wonderful, right, if he was willing to do that. But it may be that the reality is he doesn't want to, or he's not up for it. And it's also very true that a lot of times we're not on the same page as our partner, right? So why then try to fight what the reality is? It's just extremely frustrating and exhausting to do that because the reality is he's not doing the work. So, that saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So if fighting the reality is a thing you've been doing, and being mad that you're not, getting the love you want, by fighting about it and wanting him to work on it, then I'm going to suggest that you just try a new approach, one that you actually have control over. And that is doing the work on yourself, right? And not trying to get him to do work. And, doing the work on yourself does not have to be a burden. It really doesn't. It can be a beautiful opportunity for you to have what you want. So that's the good news, right? That you don't even need him to be doing the work on himself. You can make immense strides in your relationship by working on the way that you show up in it. And I know that this doesn't feel like easy to take in. It might not, it's not what we're taught, that we can make such a difference in our relationship, but I see it regularly, and it really is true. I want you to really get this into you because I want you to have the loving relationship that you want. So when you do the work on yourself, when you kind of take care of your own side of the street, when you learn the beautiful skills, the relationship skills, and you use them, and you overcome your own blocks to intimacy and loving interactions, then what you're doing is creating an amazing opportunity for him, giving him an amazing gift of being able to feel better in your relationship, right? That can let him relax into feeling respected and trusted and capable instead of defensive and like self-protective, which never looks pretty, right? So when you give him the gift of feeling safer, he's going to start to show up in a much better way and really start to be more inspired to shift and change things on his end. So again, I've actually seen this with every single client I've ever worked with. I've seen their partner ultimately start to shift. So just because you're the one doing the initiating and growing a lot on your own, it doesn't mean that you're all alone in this, right? You know, you will be kind of inviting him into the process just by showing up in a different way yourself. And really you're giving him this big gift of him getting what he really wants deep down, which is more love and more dignity inside of himself, because then he's starting to be, you know, in the relationship in a better way, and he feels good about himself too. So I call this relational empowerment, and, you know, where you're giving yourself and him the gift of a better relationship. So if you can think about it like that you're actually kind of like creating the change that you want to see in yourself and in him. You're really getting to be the hero of your own love story. I think that can feel really good and energizing to think of it that way, because it really does start with you. So in my next blog post, I'm going to be sharing some specific ways for dealing with his, you know, problem behavior. But for now, I want you to try this little experiment. And just so you can see for yourself how when you change your behavior, things start to shift. So I want you to try this. Give him or your partner 5 appreciations a day. So 5 little thank yous. Find 5 things you can thank him for. They can be little, like thanks for calling, thanks for taking out the trash, thanks for picking up the kids, like thanks for listening to me when I was sharing that thing. It doesn't have to be big. And then do that for 5 appreciations a day for like 5 days. And then I want you to comment and tell me how it went. Like just notice, tell me on the blog, I'll put the link below, like how that little experiment shifted things. Like if he responded to you differently or what happened. I'm so curious. So please go ahead and post that once you've done that over on the website, on the blog. And I'll look forward to hearing from you soon. Have fun.